It's a lovely house of crazy. Thank you for having us.
Well, kind of on that note, Irving is not going to be in the best place. He's in a mental institution when season 2 picks up. How is he handling things?
You know, I think this is where Irving and Orlando cross and become the same person. I should be in a mental institution. He is in a mental institution. Difficult scenario. Separated from family. Out of control. I think he's been a guy who's been in control throughout a lot of his life, and now he has no control over anything. So, you know, I think those circumstances are dictating a lot of what's going on in his life.
What was really fun for us with Irving last year was we knew that we were going to start him off at the beginning of the season as a guy who thought he knew everything and had all the answers, and end him where we ended him, which was 180 degrees from where we started him. And I think knowing that is a really fun. It's a fun way to go, because you want to plot that arc along the way, and if you know you're heading there, then you can start peeling the layers back little by little. And by the time we got into the episode where your daughter was being visited by the demon in the park, that was really kind of, I think, the turning point.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, okay, this man is now starting to lose his faith. He doesn't know what to do anymore. Everything he believed in, he's now starting to question. And I think each character gets to go through a version of that over the course of the season.
Sorry, it is a draft. I'm not. Yeah. Just weird.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right above you.
No, it's okay. I'll just
So from what you guys have filmed so far, what is one big scene that you can tease that you're really excited for everyone to see?
There's been a gag order, and told me I can't talk about any of those things. Alex, however, can tell you about all kinds of stuff.
Right?
I'm not.
Well, we don't want to give away too much, but what we can tell you is that because we all thought so long and hard about how we wanted to end the season and how we wanted to build it, what we didn't want to do was because we left everybody in such a horrible place at the end of the season, what we didn't want to do is make getting out of those problems easy or expected. So I think what we can promise, certainly in the premiere episode, is that whatever you think is coming next isn't really what's coming next. And hopefully that stays true to the tone of the series.
Psych.
Jenny spent most of her life where Jenny spent most of her life where people didn't believe her, and now she's in a world where her sister believes her and everyone else does. So how does that change her going forward?
I think it's kind of a big relief in a way. I think it's really great for Jenny to have her sister back. But we have to remember that Jenny did have Corbin before. She comes from a place where she had people that she knew that did believe her. It was just that everyone in Sleepy Hollow did not. So she had this weird life double life that she was living, I think, for a long time. But having her sister back in her life, it's amazing for her to find somewhere where she can feel comfortable and at home. And I think she's always kind of scared of losing that again. So it's this weird push and pull with her all the time.
How does she fit in the investigations and that with Abby and Ichabod then?
How does she fit in?
Fit in, like in season 2, and like with what Abby and Ichabod are doing?
Jenny very organically found her way into the investigations in the first season, and I think part of what it's very much a team now, and so part of what I think we are so excited about is that, we at the end of season 1, War comes to Sleepy Hollow, and it's a character who's wildly divisive for all of them, not just because, he's the horseman of war, but because he has a very personal relationship with a lot of our leads. And so what that's going to bring out in everybody is a lot of conflict about how to solve the problem, because it's a lot tougher to come up with solutions when it's personal for people, and that will affect everybody. So I think that's one of the things we're most excited about. For example, Jenny and Abby, who I think part of the fun for us in writing that last year was, again, like what we were saying with Orlando, we knew that at the beginning they were going to be absolutely at odds, and by the end we wanted to bring them together. But just because they're together now doesn't mean everything's fine. It doesn't mean they're going to stick together. There's a lot of things that are going to try to pull them apart, because they may not always agree or be on the same line about how to solve the problems.
And there's so much stuff there from their past that, those things can sometimes throw them back into this.
Yeah. So that's what's fun about this season. It's so not neat. It's so messy. that you're really in it, and it's so great to be there because laying the groundwork in season 1, there's so much work being done. It's really fun. I can't wait for you to see it. It's fun.
On that team building note, looking back to season 1, which points for all of you where you felt that once the characters being more established and the world building was happening, you felt like the little family groups were getting connected, and especially when you found out what was really going on, and for you creating the show, what were those points that you remember that was the kind of turning point for this character and the writer?
Well, there were a couple of sort of obvious ones with Abby and Jenny. After, I think it was episode 10, when Jenny had sort of been possessed and then not possessed, and then at the end they have saving Macy from possession as well. I think there was a moment, for Lyndie anyway, playing Jenny, when there was just a moment where she got to just breathe out and let all of this stuff sort of go and just like hug her sister, and that felt like one of the first genuine connections. But there was another moment that was more subtle, and I find that was when Jenny met Macy, and that sort of softened her a bit, and that was really important.
That's interesting you should say that, because I have this exact same feeling. For me, it's the moment when Irving is actually suggesting that they go and investigate a case because it might lead to some information about Katrina. Prior to that,
never would have.
all investigations are being thrust upon him in some way. Abby and Ricky Bob are trying to convince him that this is the point at which he's like, look, something's going on with Katrina, her name's on the paper, go check it out, That to me, that's it's the difference between the person you don't like and then you decide, okay, we're going to do this. So, I kind of felt like that to me.
Well, we know Matt Barr is coming on, and he has a history with Jenny. What can you kind of tease about what he does to the team dynamic?
Well, he's a wild card, and they're not sure if they can trust him or not. And so a lot of he's a little Han Solo that way, where he seems like a great guy, but you're never sure if he's really out for himself. And so the stakes are unbelievably high this season, and they may have to trust somebody who may not be trustworthy. So that obviously is going to throw a lot into the game. I'm trying to think of what else I can say without revealing.
I know, it's hard with him, He's a great guy.
Very handsome.
Note.
Honestly. I grabbed his butt on several. I'm not ashamed of it.
It's not rare, though. He really does like to grab guys' butts.
It's not me. It's a disorder with my left hand. You Google it if it's real.
Are we going to see more romantic entanglements this season? Bringing him on and with the established cast as well?
You can't have somebody that handsome on the show without being questioned somewhere, we'll see where it goes. I mean, I think one of the things though that we all feel proud of in terms of the romantic entanglements or not romantic entanglements is that it's kind of secondary to what's really happening, and it's really about the connections that these people have, because they're so isolated and alone, and there's so many more bad guys than there are good guys, and so for them to have each other and find each other and hold on to each other is so precious for them. And obviously that level of intensity, always there's a question of something, but I don't think we ever want to push it in the wrong direction just for a gimmick. It has to be earned.
We might have a future.
I asked the other guys about the horror side of the show, so just intrigued in terms of what we said before, but are there aspects of the horror, all of you, that you squirm more about? Is it more about the incantation, possession things, or is it more about the monsters on the show? That just as a person you feel a little bit, creeps you out more than other things about the show? Or are you great with horror? Just horror is like ducks back.
You mean what's scariest?
As you as a person, like in real life,
Well, we have this kind of motto on our show, which is that the monsters, the demons they're manifestations of our character's inner demons. So we never have a monster that is a random monster that's just a really cool monster. I mean, we spend a lot of time making our monsters cool, but they always reflect some big character challenge that one of our characters had. The Sandman obviously came from that. I mean, all of our monsters come from that. So I think that monsters are scariest when they relate psychologically to people you are invested in, and they're weird mirror images of and usually when monsters have a tragic background, as the best monsters do, they're relatable too. They're not just these untouchable entities. So personally, I think I don't know. I kind of love all of it. The show is such a wonderful playing ground for that. You know, we get to create all these crazy things, and people might say there are no rules. That's actually not true. We have very strict rules, but once you know what the rules are, you can kind of paint rainbows and in between the lines. And that's the fun of our lives.
Are you guys good with horror?
I love horror. I love horror. So I've been really excited that it's sort of slowly amped up, I feel, in season 1. I love it. My grandmother does not. I remember when Jenny was possessed, she was like, I couldn't watch. I couldn't watch. But
yeah, I like the twist. I like the fact that I'm laughing out loud at Yolanda, and 2 minutes later I'm like, oh well, okay, that's not cool. that was a man part. That was not right. So yeah, I've always been a horror fan, but I think anytime it makes you jump, right? The best part of it is that involuntary response of jumping at something you didn't expect to. So anytime I get a reaction, if it's a chuckle, if it's a smile, and then a jump, I kind of feel like it makes the show special.
So you like the shock value, that sort of like startled.
Yeah, I like the juxtaposition, because most times I'm watching horror, I don't laugh. It doesn't happen. So, or I'm not thinking about, oh wow, what part of the history did they twist? So it's the brain tickle and then the scare that I like the most about this particular show.